Hello, welcome back tuning into this scenes video, doing another Christmas update. I think it's the 19th Christmas update this evening. We're moving on to the GFS model now. We've ditched the CFS, we're on to the GFS, the Global Forecast System model. It goes out to 384 hours, and Christmas has just come within the time frame of the GFS model, 384 hours away. So I'll have a look at that in a moment. Before I get on with that, just want to talk about the advertising. There's video ads on my pages at GazWebBiz.com. When you press play on the video ad, you'll be supporting GazWebBiz.com. Thanks very much for doing that. Gaz Shop is open, so if you want to do any Christmas shopping between now and Christmas, just click through the Amazon banners in Gaz Shop. It'll take you through to Amazon. You can do your Christmas shopping as normal. But at the same time, GazWebBiz will get a royalty fee on anything that you purchase. Thanks so much for doing these things for the website. It does make a big difference to the website. It pays me to have the website. So thanks so much for getting involved and supporting GazWebBiz.com. Now, we're using WestCentral.d, the general charts that I normally use my everyday videos. Now we've come within the GFS time frame. A link to West Central is on my links page. Because it's still a long way out, 384 hours, we're still using it really the same way that we would choose the CFS model, in that we're looking for trends, patterns to emerge as we run up to, say, day 10, something like that. And then once you get to around 10 days away, then you can start looking at it for more detail. But at the moment, we're still just really using it for trends. For trends within the CFS model, you'll remember, was for it to get cold and colder as we was getting closer to Christmas. But then the very last update on Saturday, I said that I thought the CFS had been leading us up the garden path a little bit with all those cold charts it was churning out, because it reverted to a much milder scenario. And well, let's have a look at what the GFS is showing, and it is a mild and unsettled Christmas. This is Christmas Eve, first of all, and well, we've got high pressure to the east, still blocking the high pressure that's there today, is still there really to the east of the country on Christmas Eve. Low pressures in the Atlantic, so we've still got this ongoing sort of scenario between low pressure coming up against that high pressure across Central Europe, keeping winds from a mild south or southwesterly direction. More unsettled in the north and west, wet and windy there, drier down to the south and the southeast. But precipitation shows that all the rainfall is in the northwest, very little down to the south and the southeast. Temperatures on the mild side, somewhere between around 8 and 12 degrees. Remember, you can't use this particularly for detail, but that's sort of a sensible temperature for those southerly and southwesterly winds. Now, as we go through to Christmas Day, there's very little change, except the low pressure in the Atlantic really deepens. A very intense area of low pressure setting up there at 935 millibars around Iceland. That's an incredibly intense area of low pressure. But it's basically still just bringing rain to the far north and northwest, because the high pressure down to the south and southeast is still more or less in control of the pattern. But that's an incredibly strong polar vortex sitting across Greenland and going to the south of Iceland. That really is locking us into an Atlantic-driven weather pattern for many days beyond that, if it's right. Wet and windy in the very far northwest, otherwise mainly dry, but there's a lot of cloud coming in with that west-southwesterly wind. And temperatures are still on the mild side, between around, say, 7 and 10 degrees. A little bit cooler than Christmas Eve, because the winds have gone more westerly as opposed to southwesterly. But basically, it's a mild Christmas being signalled there. No sign of anything particularly wintry away from the Scottish mountains. You would be struggling to find much in the way of snow. So the first charts from the GFS model, continuing where we left off with the CFS, really a mild Christmas being signalled, quite unsettled in the northwest, mainly dry in the south and the southeast. We'll do it all over again on Wednesday and see whether there's any change to this scenario. But I think I'm not convinced we're going to have a particularly cold Christmas, I have to say, this year. My guess is that it'll be a mild one, but we'll see how things emerge over the next week or so. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.